Alright guys, so I had a question come in on my horseshoe nail hook video, and the question was, how do I keep the nail head straight and keep it from moving around on the anvil? Now the guy said, his name was William Moore, said that he is using a vise, the flat spot on his vise, to do that. So I'm going to kind of do it on the vise that I have to kind of get a feel for what he's trying to do and see if I can't give him any words of advice on how to do it on this. I think the nail head moving around is from not having a whole lot of weight behind the anvil that he's hammering on, but I don't know until I give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I figured I'd bring y'all along and try and answer his question for him. Alright, so as you can hopefully see, I've just got a small spot there on my vise. I don't have a very big one. Let's see here. Looks like 1.5 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So it's not a huge spot, but let's just go ahead and give this a try. Now I normally use a vice grip or something like that to hold these when I'm hammering on them. But you got to be careful, because if you don't take off the teeth of the vice grips, you'll come up with teeth marks. So, and you don't need a very big hammer. I'm just using, is this like a 16-ounce ball peen? We're going to take it and set it on the anvil. And you can bring it out here to make that little shelf like what I talked about in the first one. But I don't have much support underneath this, so I'm not going to do that on this. Alright guys, sorry about that. I got to move you to some place that's you're not going to jump all around. Give me a second, I'll get better set up. Alright, hopefully y'all can see that alright. Maybe bring you... Alright, hopefully that gives y'all a pretty good shot. So, we've just kind of started flattening it out. And really, to get it straight, you want to make sure you're hammering flat down on there. So when you're coming down at an angle, it's coming straight. Your hammer face is coming straight down to it. And that's one way you can keep the head straight, because when you're pushing that metal out, when you're hammering on it, you're pushing that metal out and expanding it. So there's that. Alright, and as you can see in the vice grips, it has cocked sideways, and I think that's just from the rebound of not having a whole lot of weight underneath here, and you're really hammering down on it, because it is going to bounce around on you a little bit more than what it would on the anvil. Alright, so that is kind of my conclusions on this. I know it wasn't a whole lot. If I had started writing the reply to the comment, but I just felt like I couldn't really speak to it very much because I had never hammered on one of the anvils. So I figured I'd bring y'all down here and try and best answer the question. Keeping the head straight is definitely hammer control. Obviously you're going to get a slight bend. You see how that bends in there? But that's as easy as sticking it in the vise. Sticking it in the vise and clamping it back down. And you can straighten it back out that way. You know, Definitely the head bouncing around is a little heftier. Let's see. I've got just this. I don't know. This is 3 by 3 square, and it's probably 5 inches long. It's got some weight to it. I mean, I'd say this is probably about 12 pounds. You can take something like that and kind of mount in a little, almost like you would your regular anvil, but that would give you a little more security underneath of it and probably help from keeping the head from moving around. I hope this answers your questions. You know, from the way I understood it, that is the best thing. Now, I will say this. A hammer like this, small ball peen or smaller hammer, I find much easier to make these guys with than a big. I had a 2.5 pound that I started out with, and I just felt like I was getting a whole lot of power and smashing them down quicker, but I felt like I wasn't getting as much control out of it. And that's what I mean by hammer control. You know, get you something that you aren't going to wear yourself out with swinging a little bit for quite a while. Because I sit down, when I make these, I normally now sit down and make 100 of them at a time. I'll flatten all of them out. I kind of do it in a process. And that just gets it out of the way and gives me a little bit of breathing room because they do sell pretty quick. So you definitely want a hammer you can control swinging. Yeah, obviously you can take a 10-pound sledgehammer and flatten it out in one go, but how neat is it going to look? You know, is it going to be off, you know, all curved way out here, and, you know, it's not going to look as neat. So you may need to take a few more swings, but definitely a hammer that's a little more easier to control. So that would be my recommendation on that. And like I said, just get you something with a little bit more weight behind it. These vices aren't really meant to be hammered on like that. So you can break them, and they're not designed to take the impact like that. You don't need a big fancy anvil. Grab you a chunk of steel. I hope to be able to, here in the future, I have I don't know, it's probably a 3-inch round bar that I'm hoping to be able to cut into smaller sections and offer to you guys, but right now I don't have the capabilities to cut it, so I got to figure out who I can get to cut that for me. But when those are available, I'll do a little video, may even do one as a giveaway. So William, I hope that answered your questions. If you have another one, leave it in the comments to this video, and I'll do my best to try and answer that. You know, I hope y'all have a blessed day. See y'all on the next one.